Self-high five. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Monday Night Pod. My name is Jeremy Jacobowitz. I'm here with my tag team partner, Adam Welby.
Heyo.
This is a podcast all about the Monday Night Wars, all about the battles between WWF Raw and WCW Nitro. Each and every single week, we go back in time and we review when both shows went head-to-head. And at the end of the day, we are trying to determine who really should have won the Monday Night Wars. Adam, why should people listen to what we have to say?
Because we're talking about old wrestling here. And let me tell you something, Jer Bear. Old wrestling is safe. Old wrestling is friendly. Old wrestling won't let you down in overtime with sudden death like the fucking Chicago Bears. Like, God damn it. Once again, Leonard, stupid. Anyway, sorry. I'm in a mood today. I'm in a mood. Let's crack a beer.
You say that. We'll get to the Nitro main event. But yes, that and we both used to work at a WWE, both used to work in a WD Tape Library. Our jobs were to watch all of wrestling, and that's what we did, and that's what we do.
Sure was and is, because I guess it was our job, and we used to get paid to do it. And then, you know, if you're smart, you keep getting paid to do things you're good at. But we're dumb, I guess.
Well, we didn't get paid that much, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I want to give before we get started, Adam, I want to give a little shout out here to a wonderful
Podhead.
Yeah. I don't know what their real name is. I know what their TikTok handle is. It's Doug effing funny, written weirdly _ I don't know if they really want us to put the whole thing out there anyway, so we'll just leave it at that. But they wrote me the loveliest message. Out of all places, TikTok, the one place we don't promote any week because there's no Monday Night Pod thingy on TikTok, but obviously I have my personal TikTok. He said that he took a 10-hour drive, Adam, and listened to us the entire 10 hours.
Oh my God. Doug's funny. I'm happy to take the road trip with you. You know what? I rescind my previous comment about us being dumb because hanging out in Doug Funny's road trip with him or her, I don't know, it's just a username, is definitely more valuable than anything that we were getting paid back then. So we were getting paid a lot. So Doug Funny, cheers to you. Sip a beer for the working man.
I can't even spend 10 hours without him. I'm impressed that you wanted to do both with both of them.
When we do our special additional episodes one day, we'll talk about how I forced my friendship on you and have never let it go. So
I mean, no offense, Adam. I don't like spending 10 hours with anybody, truly.
That's fair. I do though. Doug, let me know next time. I'll give you extra content.
There you go. Well, shall we get into it this week?
You know, I don't see why not. Not a ton in the world today that I feel needs addressing. So
Great.
Let's jump into it.
Well, Adam, let's go back in time. We're going to January 13th, 1997. This is the go-home show for the Royal Rumble for Raw, episode 193. And they are once again taped for the Knickerbocker Arena right here in the great state of New York in Albany. We open with a little video package previewing what's to come, and right into the first match. It is our Intercontinental Champion, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, with Jerry King Lawler versus Goldust and Mark Mero. Of course, Marlena and Sable are out there as well. This match goes 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Because King is wrestling, Hockey Talk Man is on commentary tonight. It's a King match, so there's just lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stalling. There's so much stalling, in fact, that Vince, before the first commercial break in this match, teases what's to come, graphics and all, the same shit over and over and over again, because he can't even be bothered to talk about this match. They have like the most standard house show match ever. Anyway, Goldust has Hunter tied up in the ropes. He won't relent. The ref tries to stop him, and Goldust shoves him. The bell rings for the DQ. Even Mark Mero is trying to stop Goldust, but he's so incensed at him.
Yeah, he's so incensed that Goldust even slugs Mero. And Miro doesn't do anything about it, so he kind of looks dumb, kind of looks like a bitch. If that's going to be your babyface character, you know, it's funny. I had a lot of the same thoughts on this match as you did, as you described it. I wrote that it was a super standard WWE style of two singles guys are a tag team against two other singles guys who are a tag team match. We all know what that is. but I thought Honky Tonk was actually pretty decent on commentary here. So, just looking for a little bit of goodness in the ugliness that is this opening match. But yeah, it's totally inconsequential. Not even Vince cares. We're starting off hot.
Yep. Next up, we hear from Psycho Sid, who is at the Alamo Dome. Of course, the Royal Rumble is going to be there this weekend. So he's in the empty, gigantic Alamo Dome by himself, just shouting in the middle of it. Talks about becoming a monster, and that's what it takes to walk out of walk out with the championship this Sunday. He talks about Sean having his friends and family in the stands, watching on. I thought it was really cool. Maybe the substance wasn't that interesting, but I love the way they shot it. I loved him alone in the stadium, just as he's screaming, you hear it echoing. It feels like that big moment in that big match, which is what it is.
Yeah, for his character and everything like that, obviously his matches are what they are, but Sid has actually been a pretty good champion, I think. Definitely better than like Diesel, in these things, or like Bret Hart when we saw him take out the title twice in a year or whatever it was. I actually thought it was a pretty good promo by Sid on top of all that. And what I thought was funny, something that the kids today might not appreciate as much, but Sid is doing this promo like he's holding a camera in selfie mode,
yes,
and speaking to it. But this is 1997. There ain't no cell phones with a camera in them. So Sid has got to be holding a giant camera in his hand out like that. And it didn't look like a cassette or like a.
No, but I think they just shot it that way. I don't know if
with him holding it, nonetheless, it looked cool.
It looked cool.
Different. And I was also reminded a little bit of remember those like month and a half where I think it was just on SmackDown where like they changed all their promos where selfies backstage with random text bubbles coming up over.
It was like impact text. Yes, I remember those days.
Terrible. It was so terrible, but yeah, this was cool because it was like, oh look, Sid's doing a selfie style promo, and I don't know, it's not something that you saw much back then. But
that's great.
Super good for you, Psycho Sid.
Next up, we're live in San Antonio with Sean. It's hanging out at Park Place. I actually think I went there. Maybe. He says he isn't quite as big of a monster, but nobody can get as nasty as him. I'm all man, at least a yard wide, whatever that means. He talks about having the pressure on his shoulders for 2 years, and he always delivers.
Yeah, he's surrounded by ladies talking about it.
And beautiful. Road Dog.
Yeah, beautiful feathered hair. Yeah, ladies and Road Dog. There you go. Did Road Dog quit Twitter this week? I think.
Don't know. Did he?
I think he got bullied off of it by Hurricane Helms when Hurricane Helms said something about. Road Dog basically said something about coronavirus being fake, and then
I see a lot of what Road Dog posts on Facebook. It is questionable.
It's on brand, I think. So regardless, Shawn Michaels surrounded by some homely looking ladies and the Road Dog cutting a pretty good promo. Excited about Sid versus Shawn.
Bret Hart comes out to join commentary. He's dressed all nice, but he has a limp because Austin attacked him yesterday, took out his knee. We go back to see Shawn still with the fans. Again, just Road Dogg sort of hanging out. Cool. Did not mention him at all. He's just there. He was probably just at the bar. He's like, oh, you guys are filming? Cool. All right. Next up, WWF Tag Team Champion British Bulldog with Clarence Mason versus Rocky Maivia. This match goes 9 minutes and 15 seconds. We see clips of Rocky saving Sable on Shotgun Saturday Night after Honky Tonk tried to sexually assault, harass her, or something like that. Miro was all pissed. During the match, Owen comes out and he gets right into Bret's face on commentary. He just literally standing in front of the announcer's desk, staring a hole through Bret, making sure he does not get involved. Davey and Rocky fall to the outside. Austin runs out, takes Bulldog's leg out from behind him, hits a Stone Cold Stunner. Bret's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And Owen's like, has his back turned to him, so he doesn't see it. But finally, they both run off. So they chase Austin out of the arena. And Rocky just casually rolls back into the ring and gets a count out victory.
Yeah. This was funny because Rocky, he had a competitive showing out there. He looks like a star, but the crowd is not very hot for him. And then at the end, when, he's had his count out victory and he's back in the ring, they have the fakest Rocky, Rocky, Rocky chant, just like all of a sudden up there, all of a sudden gone. But you see the arena, everyone's sitting on their hands. It's so funny when they try to make like fake crowd noise. It's like it never ever works for them. It's like
it works now in the Thunderdome.
I think it's terrible in the Thunderdome.
Oh, no. I love it.
I think it's awful.
But it's what all the sports are doing. I think they actually do a better job of it than the NFL does, because the NFL, they don't even pump stuff that makes any sense. WD controls it, obviously, but at least they're playing the sounds that they pump out are playing along. Is it a little bit sometimes? Sure, but like it makes sense. The best example is in NFL. I was watching a Giants game. The Giants, whatever. It's like they intercepted him or something, and there were no boos. They were just like mild cheers. It's like, dude, if that was at MetLife and the Giants do an interception, they would be booing the shit out of them, and they don't do that at all. Or at least WWE is. I actually enjoy it only because WWE fans like hate playing along sometimes. Like the NXT audience is so much fun because they play along. Like if this shit was happening in front of WWE fans right now, nobody would be booing Roman Reigns. And like, that would suck because like that takes away from his character. Now we get to boo along and have fun with it. I long-winded way of saying I actually really like it.
I think it's cringy when they insert a "This is awesome" chant, because
but that's only happened a few times. But yeah,
generally
I agree.
And also, like, it's just there's some inconsistency with it. So I know everybody loves the Roman Reigns Jey Uso storyline.
It's great.
I love the character. Don't get me wrong. I hate the ring work from it. I hate what they're doing.
I like it.
Because said crowd noises, they completely pull it down so that you can hear them talk for
I don't know with that. I think they just bump up the mics in the ring. I don't think they pull it down so much.
No, they're definitely lowering it out there.
But would you rather them not do that and then you don't hear what's going on, which is the match?
Right. That whole story doesn't work unless you can hear them giving 10 dialogue each time.
But
I hate it.
But I love it. They're taking advantage of this unique situation that they're like, wow, we have an opportunity to do something different because of it. Let's do it, as opposed to just ignoring it.
That's a very glass half full way of looking at it. I saw like a couple weeks ago, you know where I'm going with this. I saw Penta versus Rey Fenix, brother versus brother. And they did a match where you knew a family was fighting within it, and it was a great match, and they didn't have to stand there and talk at each other for 20 minutes. I hate it.
They got hurt in that match, and they should have talked to each other a little bit more.
I hate this talking stuff that they're doing right now. And
he's the tribal chief, Adam.
And I will tell you, people trying to say that like Randy Orton is putting in the best work of his career right now. Oh my God, that Hell in a Cell versus Drew was the most boring slogfest piece of shit I've ever seen. That was awful. It was one of the worst Hell in a Cells I've ever seen. It's up there with Braun and Roman. It's up there with Seth and The Fiend. I
don't think so.
Terrible.
It should have been shorter, yeah, but it didn't really bother me that much. I think most matches should be shorter, so you can't judge that. I think thinking back to last year's Hell in a Cell, this was a million times better.
Oh, because this year it had a finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. God, it was a terrible match. Randy Orton is the worst. Everyone who defends him, you have a bad or a underdeveloped palate, I will say. I know.
I will allow this.
We like it's subjective, and I'm not meaning to alienate any of the podheads, but come on, man. Demand's better.
I will allow the storyline to play out.
Okay.
Happens. I was sort of running. I think Drew's title run was running on fumes a little bit. A title change had to take place. If it's a short-term thing, I think it could be fun. I don't know. I don't see them doing Roman Randy at Survivor Series. That match doesn't really make much sense to me. So I feel like something might change quickly.
I disagree, but I also don't understand. I wish I saw what people are seeing when they say that this is the best Randy Orton's ever been. I'm like, are you kidding?
Not this feud, but in the past year, I think he was substantially better than he was the past 10 years.
Character work, but his ring work is just still laying around and waiting for his next like signature move. It's just boring by the numbers shit. Nothing like this next interview with the Nation of Domination we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't finish talking about it. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We go backstage at Nation of Domination, and they say they will dominate. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, because Crush is facing Taker in the main event. Anyway, we cut back to Sean again, partying in San Antonio, not San Diego. Sorry. And Adam, one of my favorite moments in Raw history takes place.
Oh, really?
Yes. Partying with Shawn Michaels is The Rock. He's there. And here's the thing. They could have just ignored it, and Rock was in the background. You're like, hey, is that? And it would have cut away. And Vince goes, what did he say? Vince goes, hey, there's Rocky. And it's like, wait, what? Vince, he was just in the ring 30 seconds ago.
Oh, God.
Rock, by the way, is in like that 90s Rock outfit. He has a black turtleneck, a blue blazer, and like that big necklace. But like, I understand that part is live, and Rock probably just didn't realize what was going on. If Vince had not said anything, nobody would have noticed. Like, yeah, there's stupid people on the internet. They would have frozen it like, oh my God, that Rock was there. Ha, 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 ha. But like, to the masses, nobody would have noticed. Except where Vince goes, yeah, Dave Meltzer would have been a jack off about it. But Vince goes, hey, there's Rocky. You knew as soon as there was a commercial, Vince blew a gasket. Him saying, hey, there's Rocky is really him saying, God fucking damn it, why the fuck is the Rock in that?
Yeah. Look pretty good there. Well, Sean and Jesse James and The Rock can party away in San Antonio. You know, I'm surprised actually when you're talking about it earlier. I was thinking about it. Jesse James, kayfabe the gimmick, bro. You're supposed to be with my baby tonight, right? He can't wait to be alone with his baby tonight, but he's out partying. Supposed to be alone with his baby tonight. Like, you're still in the gimmick, bro. Whatever. I guess we on Monday Night Pod hold kayfabe more sacred than other people do.
Apparently. Next up, it's our main event. How about that? Crush with the Nation Domination versus The Undertaker. Undertaker starts brawling as they make their entrance. Taker attempts old school, but Farouk shakes the ropes. We see Vader come out to watch as we go to commercial. Come back. Taker hits one of the worst choke slams in the history of all time. Not Undertaker's fault. Obviously, Crush just didn't fucking get up for him. So Taker had to muscle him and try and just throw him to the mat.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Taker's not the Giant, because as many times as we've seen a choke slam person not want to go up on Nitro, they go up when the Giant does it.
Anyway, Nation Domination run in for the DQ at this moment. Anyway, Vader runs into, gets his licks in, hits the Vader bomb. Ahmed runs out to make the save, but even having the 2x4 wasn't enough, and they beat the shit out of Ahmed also. And that's how we end Raw and head towards the Royal Rumble.
That's what you get, Ahmed. Yeah, interesting that like that's the highlighted feud going into the end of it, you know? But okay.
Well, I thought that it was terrible. Matches were terrible. And we like to play this game, Adam, so I'm going to pull it up right here. The go-home episode of the Royal Rumble. How many matches can you name?
Oh, I like this game. Okay, Doug Funny, you play along with us here. I'm going to say, all right, so we have the Royal Rumble. We have,
which by the way, they barely spoke about. They mentioned it, obviously, but like No mention of who's going to be in there. No matches between people who are going to be in there. None of that shit. So like, I'm giving you like half credit even for mentioning Royal Rumble because they barely did.
Well, it's the name of the pay-per-view, so that's how they get away with mentioning it. So let's see. There's the Royal Rumble. There's Shawn versus Sid. Now here's where it gets complicated because thinking about the stories that they're telling, I don't know if these guys actually have a match or they're just highlighting that they're going to be in the Rumble in that way.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Brett and Stone Cold are just in the Rumble. They don't have a match. Okay. All right. That was a good one. Based on the lame-ass tag team opening, I'm going to say that we have Goldust versus Triple H for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, that is a match.
Ooh,
that's the first match on the pay-per-view.
Yes. Well, I should say Hunter Hearst Helmsley rather. I am going to serve. I mean, some of these are just shots in the dark for me, but I'm going to say Ahmed versus Farouk.
That did actually happen. Yes. Again, no mention of that, but yes, by going by storylines, that match was the next match on the card.
Yeah. And Taker versus Vader.
Yes, that as well happened. That is the next match on the card.
Okay.
Again, they didn't really spell that out. They just whatever.
Vader.
The next match,
match, and then attacked afterwards. So that's my only way of coming up with that.
The storylines played out, but there were no match graphics. There was no talking about it. There was no real anyway. There's one other match. There's two matches left. A championship match, obviously the Royal Rumble. This match you'll never get, so I'll just give it to you. It is a 6-man tag team match. Canek, Hector Garza, and Pedro Aguaya defeated Freswa Guerrera, Heavy Metal, and Jerry Estrada.
Wow. Listen to those R's that you're rolling there.
So many R's.
Dang. No tag team title match, huh?
No, there was a bunch of pre-matches, and those are all lucha matches. There are 3 dark lucha matches.
Not to be crass, but who the fuck are the tag team champions right now? I don't even remember.
Bulldog and Owen. Bulldog
and Owen still? Because I don't think
Bulldog had his belt with him.
Did he have his belt? I don't remember. Okay. All right. So look at that. Look at that big, beautiful brain that you got on Gare Bear. I didn't write down in my notes that Bulldog had it. I can't even remember because there's no story going on with the tag team titles right now.
No, they're all kind of wrapped up in the Brett stiff.
Well, ain't that just fun? A highly inconsequential Raw to kick off January to kick off the Royal Rumble, I guess. So, great. Stoked.
I mean, you couldn't even give us like a Austin promo or something.
No Austin promo. In fact,
after Rumble, I'm gonna whoop everyone's ass. Throw them all over the top rope.
The stunner
my throat hurts me.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna try. The stunner that he hit wasn't even on camera.
Yeah, no. Once again, we don't see it.
Yeah, they just said that he hit a stunner, and I don't know if he did because I think
in the replay I did see him hit the stunner.
I imagine hitting a stunner on the entranceway would hurt like a motherfucker.
No. It was on the mats on the outside. So he clips the knee, picks him up, stuns him. Because remember, there's still no quick wham. So he just pulls him up.
That's the coverage of it. See, I thought it was, okay. Regardless, as you can see, I mean, come on, this isn't all on me. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb, right? Even if I am dumb, it's their job to be pushing these things through. And we know how dumb Vince thinks all the fans are. So, I never thought I'd say it, but this could have used some Doc Hendricks with the Raw report or whatever the fuck.
Something. It is perplexing. Not even like a big like everyone fighting in the ring, go home Royal Rumble thing. They love doing that. You know what I mean? I guess there was technically a lot of people fighting in the ring at the end of the show, but it didn't feel that way. It was all Nation of Domination.
Yeah, they didn't have fake Diesel come out to be he's 7 feet tall. Who could possibly throw him over the
Right. The tropes that we are accustomed to did not happen.
Oh, well, Jer Barry, you know what? I feel dejected by that Raw, but invigorated to move on.
Great. Let's go to Nitro, Adam. They are live from the goddamn fucking Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The show open starts, but that cuts away immediately to show that the Giant is pissed and he breaks into the NW locker room trying to kill Hulk Hogan, but he is held back for now.
Yeah, it was. I liked it. I like it a lot. I like this Giant. They know they've made a huge baby face, and like, what a great way to like kick off this show and get us interested. Because, I mean, dude, the expectations I have are high for this show because, like you said, we're in the Superdome.
Yes.
Like, I almost
it's not
there and said the Superdome.
It's oh god, it is cut off. It's not 100,000 people there, but legitimately, even cutting off a football stadium like that, I bet you there were like 30,000 people in there. And remember, when Nitro started a year and a half ago, they were filling arenas with 22,500 people. So
when Nitro started, they were in the Mall of America. So
yes, well, that doesn't count, but yes. I'm thinking of the week after in Miami. But anyway, first matchup, it is no longer Mr. I know I make the joke every time. JL versus, why don't I just call him, whatever. JL versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. This match is 4 minutes and 15 seconds. JL takes a big old bump, hitting his head in the outside after slingshot press by Chavo. Chavo gets back in, though, and hits a moonsault and wins.
Yeah, I think they might have I think he might have concussed JL there, man. Like he
it was not good.
Yeah, he took a knee to the head from this like, you know, what'd you call it?
The slingshot press.
I had it as a moonsault in my thing, but yeah, I believe your thing. Either way, Chavo's knee like connected with JL's head, and it looked like
I'm thinking of a totally different spot. So JL got his head wrong a few times.
Yeah, because it was a quicker match than you'd expect. There was something I liked here in the announcing, though, that had nothing to do with the match. Even though the match is like a good, quick effort kind of thing. The announcers are talking about they haven't really dug into this too much on Nitro, but they're talking about how Giant is pissed because that's the title shot that he earned at World War III, right?
Yes.
They had mentioned that Giant earned a title shot, but they hadn't been saying World War III a lot. And in this show, they're going to bring up World War III many times. And I really appreciate that because often in wrestling, time doesn't really exist further than a month or two forward or backwards, right? Like, this is, I mean, World War III was 6 months ago.
No. World War III was in November.
Was it? It feels like forever ago.
Because it goes Halloween Havoc, and then World War III.
I'm gonna look it up. All right. Well, it feels like it was forever ago. Then let's see.
We might have covered it the way we do episodes 6 months ago. But
that's true.
And WCW time, it was only 2 months ago or whatever it was, a month and a half.
Regardless, that's outside of my 1 month time that you get. So I appreciate that they're going back to it, especially because it hadn't really been brought up during that time. Like, he won the title opportunity.
Yeah, and they kept it quiet.
Yeah, and then it was just he had his program with the U.S. title where he like stole it from Flair and all that stuff. And like, this is I'm into where they're going with this. So,
well, after match, Chavo yells, "Who's next?" Goldberg stole it from him. Anyway, Tony and Larry then discussed that Hulk Hogan is actually pulled out of the title match with the Giants at Sold Out. Oh my God, how could he do this? More to come.
Terrible.
Next up, it's supposed to be Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Super Calo.
Friend of the show, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
What's that?
Friend of the show, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I know. I don't want to say that because we're going to rip him apart. Duggan comes out with a stupid, gigantic WCW flag again. Mean Gene talks to him on his way down. He talks about stepping up for WCW and they need Sting's help. Ho! Be a man, Sting.
Now, before you jump into that too much, you mentioned his stupid WCW flag. That's the one that he took last week from a fan. So I'm laughing because he never gave that fan their giant flag back.
There's no way a fan had that. That had to have been a plan.
No, I know there's no way, but in kayfabe here, the gimmick here, Jeremy. So in kayfabe, a fan had this 12 by 9 foot flag that either cost hundreds of dollars to buy or took them hundreds of hours to make to sew. Yeah. Maybe not hundreds of hours, but you get my drift. And he took it from the fan and never gave it back. And now it's his, and he's running around waving it and stuff. So that's funny to me. Anyway, we need Sting's help.
Yes. Speaking of, so he yells at Sting should be a man. Duggan keeps waving a flag on his way down. Sting runs in, hits a scorpion death drop. Duggan is dead. I said, bless you, Sting, for not giving us this match. But I say that Duggan's dead, but not so much, because then we see in the wide shot, Duggan just gets up and starts waving the fucking flag again as he leaves the ring. Good job selling, Jacksaw.
But the fans pop huge for Sting dropping him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I popped huge too.
Yeah, you got a Superdome pop there. So it was fun.
Next up, Sergeant Craig Pittman versus Chris Jericho. This match goes 1 minute. Missile drop kick for the win.
Yeah, I don't get why Pittman became such a immediate jobber.
He sucks.
I don't think he sucks. He's not great. He's no Ice Train, but but I don't think he sucks. I always liked some aspects of Craig Pittman and his work style, but yeah, whatever. Missile drop kick, it's over. From the GOAT of all time, Chris Jericho.
High Voltage versus Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry. This match goes 4 minutes. We cut backstage and we see Giant burst into the NWO locker room, literally almost shot for shot the first time. Once again, he's held back, and at this point, we leave the match completely. Nobody's caring about the match. The cameras aren't even there. Bischoff jokes that Giant never got a contract for that title shot, so he does not deserve one. Cool. Finally, we come back to the ring, and a huge pop for the Heat Seeker, and Harlem Heat win.
Heat Seeker's a cool move, and you know what? Honestly, the amount of this match that we got to see, it was a quick pace, back and forth. With a really quick tempo for guys of this size going at each other. Mm-hmm. So, fine.
Next up, Tony and Larry say that the executive committee is meeting about what to do about Giant's title shot. Their offices are across the street. Why they're in New Orleans, I have no idea, but we will find out shortly what their decision is. In the meantime, here comes the NWO. Bischoff, Ted, and Vincent come out to do commentary. We get a very odd NWO is eyes video package about Sting as if he's part of the NWO. It's silly.
That's what they're selling, though. That's the story.
Yeah, of course. But then it's DDP versus Mark Starr. This match goes 1 minute. Ends with a kind of diamond cutter. I don't think Mark Starr took it correctly. It ends up being more of a bulldog, but diamond cutter out of nowhere anyway. He wins, but that's not the story here. After the match, here comes Hall and Nash into the ring. DDP hugs Nash and puts on the NWO shirt. Oh my God, Adam, after months, we finally found out that wait a minute. Diamond cutter out of nowhere, destroys Scott Hall. Nash turns around, sees DDP. DDP is able to pull the ropes down. Nash goes flying. DDP runs into the crowd. And off we go on DDP's run as the People's Champion.
When I saw Hall and Nash come out, I said to myself, I put in my notes, I went, "Oh, holy shit! This is that moment. This is one of the bigger moments of the NWO's early days. In the Monday Night Wars in Nitro, this is one of those big strike moments." Where something important just happened in front of your eyes. This is DDP, like you said, becoming the People's Champion. And it's fucking awesome. I mean, the crowd they go nuts for the swerve. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's funny. One thing I love that Bischoff says that he's now the #1 most wanted man, which is funny. What's funny is I kind of think that while the crowd did pop louder, I knew this was coming. As soon as I saw the show was from the Superdome, I'm like, oh, here it comes. I think that having it in an arena like that took away from this moment because I think you can see people going crazy a little bit, but in a stadium that big, it's hard to hear that pop. It's hard to hear that roar. And I think that in retrospect, it became this gigantic moment. I don't know if you were watching live, if you felt that necessarily. I think we know what it leads to, and we were more excited about it. I think at this point, like you watch that and you're probably excited, but DDP is still like barely a mid-carder at this point when this happens. It's not as we look at it very differently than what someone in 1997 would have viewed it
Yeah,
as.
well, the Diamond Cutter was over, like super over, and so DDP was getting into these hotter spots, and he was getting these interviews with Bischoff, or not with Bischoff, with Mean Gene, where they'd question about where his loyalties lied and everything like that. And at this point, we've seen on Nitro alone, I know it's happened a lot on other shows, but on Nitro, I think we've seen maybe 3 times where somebody accepted the NWO shirt and now they're in the NWO. Mm-hmm. Like, let's think. We've seen there was the Japanese guy who we've never seen again.
Well, he's off running NWO Japan, Adam.
Right.
Masahiro Chono.
There was Bagwell and
Big Bubba.
Big Bubba. So we've seen 3 people do it so far. We saw the Nasty Boys try to join the NWO that way, and then So this is the first time that we've seen the offering of the shirt end with somebody turning NWO down in such a way. So like this is an important moment. This is a first. And we obviously, as you were saying, we know where this is going to go, but it is a very impactful, significant first for Nitro. And I mean, just the way the announcers sell it, because Bischoff and DiBiase are putting DDP over and talking throughout his quick match, throughout his victory. They're so stoked when he's in the ring and he's taking it, and then they're dead silent after the Diamond Cutter. There's no what did he do? Why did he do that? Blah, blah, blah. It's just that dead silence.
They were pissed.
Let the moment breathe. Let the moment speak for itself. And then exactly like you said, that quick, quiet from Bischoff, he is now the number 1 wanted man. Like,
okay.
You did it. You did it, Bischoff.
Bischoff's that MVP. Anyway, next up. We get a little outsider video package. Them talking about taking on the Steiners that sold out. They talk about what they're going to do to Scotty's broken back.
You were right. He's injured.
Not anymore. Dean Malenko versus our United States champion, Eddie Guerrero. This match goes 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Beginning of this match, they announced that Hogan and Giant will not take place at Sold Out, Adam. It'll take place tonight.
Holy shit.
We see Six come out in the stands, climbing a ladder as he did last week. This time he's actually in the stands now as opposed to on entranceway. Again, he has Eddie's U.S. title. They were facing each other in the ladder match at Sold Out. It was a lot of middling stuff until the end where it really picks up some steam. Brainbuster by Eddie, calls her the frog splash, goes to the top rope, but then sees Six and is totally distracted by that. Dean is able to grab him off the middle rope, hit a power bomb, and pins him for the win.
Yeah, like you said, this is a bit more like slow and calculated than you'd think on paper when you see, 1997 Malenko versus 1997 Eddie Guerrero. You think like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a Matt classic or high flying reversal for reversal. But like, it was much more plotting. Who knows? Maybe Eddie was hungover that day or something. But it's not bad. It's certainly at least on par with anything we saw on Raw.
Yeah, significantly better Raw. Anyway, hour 2, let's do this. Super Kahlo gets another shot tonight since his first match got canceled. Tim versus Conan with Jimmy Hart. This match goes 3 minutes. Kahlo controls early, but Conan hits a huge clothesline to start turning things around. Oh boy. Kahlo comes off the ropes, jumps into Conan's arms, which should have been the finish, but Kahlo just doesn't fucking get up. So Conan drops him. One more attempt. Conan hits the 187, which is I don't even know how to describe
The
it.
package DDT.
Yeah, he pins him for the win. It was Carlo did not look good.
Yeah, Carlo's that way. You know, he's like some days when he's on, he's amazing, and then
Maybe if he didn't wrestle with sunglasses on, he'd be able to see.
oh, his vision's impaired. That makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe it's part of the gimmick. I'm being worked at him.
Maybe he and Eddie both went out last night, and so they're both hungover.
This match happens. Next up, Chris Benoit with women versus Jeff Jarrett. This match goes 5 minutes and 30 seconds. We get a pre-recorded message from Kevin Sullivan before it starts. He's chessboard in front of him, and he says, next Monday, I'm not going to play. I own the board. Throws it over and goes, that's a warning for you, Benoit. Obviously, he's been talking about it being a chess game between the two, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
oh, that's what he was going for with that? That's what the Taskmaster is a master.
It's subtle, Adam.
So subtle.
Anyway, fans are going nuts. There's a match because Arn and Mongo and Deborah make their way out. Oh, here's the finish. Mongo grabs Jarrett's like tights from the outside to hold him as Arn has the ref distracted. And then he goes to grab the briefcase from Deborah, but Deborah won't give it to him. So he lets go to try and grab it from Deborah. Finally gets the briefcase free. Turns around without looking, smacks who he thinks is Jeff Jarrett, but it's Benoit, and Jeff is able to pin him for the win. I mean, unfortunately, that spot did not work, and P had seconds and moments and plenty of time to see that he was smacking Benoit, and did not do that. Idiot Mongo, everybody's pissed. Deborah seems very happy.
Ooh, yeah, Deborah seems like something was
her plan.
There, yeah. Mongo's crying about what an idiot he was for doing it. I mean, you know, it's
at least
like
he's self-aware.
It's like you said, you know, he had plenty of time to know what the right person would be to hit there, but you know, it's a Mongo spot, so there's always something that will happen, you know. I'm not going to say it's good. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say it's so uniquely Mongo. By the way, do you follow there's a Twitter account called Mongo and Friends? I highly recommend following it. It's just like 7-second WCW clips, and like a lot of them are from the later days, so it's just like the most terrible out of context stuff or botches. It's all WCW stuff, though. I recommend the Twitter account Mongo and Friends.
Go, shout out of the week. Anyway, Ming Jin comes out to interview Benoit, woman, Mongo, Deborah, and Arn. Benoit wants to resolve this tonight. He's pissed at Mongo, puts over his football career, but then says, quit fumbling the ball. And then turns his attention towards Deborah. Talks about women not having silicone and being a real woman, not some plastic bimbo. Mongo apologizes to Benoit. Mongo apologizes, but Benoit demands to know where Flair is. Arn says that Flair doesn't want any part of this personal thing. This is business to him. They have to resolve this. Deborah says that she loves both of them, and Arn finally gets in between them as they're about to go face to face, head to head. Benoit and Mongo finally ended. Mongo just walks away. Benoit wants everyone to holds up their ends of this deal and walks away too. And Arn is left, just doesn't know what to do.
Dissension in the Horsemen. But what I thought was great about this segment, I mean, on top of just getting some Horseman storytelling, which everybody always loves, Deborah by far has the most heat. She's got Vicky Guerrero heat here. As soon as she starts talking, it's Vicky Guerrero heat, with just everyone trying to boo over her. It's awful. It's very good.
Yeah, but I think this has also been Benoit's best promo as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like everything else Benoit has done has been like generic, I'm a mean person kind of thing, where this is like felt a lot more real, I guess.
Definitely. But no props to him because fuck Benoit. Anyway,
True.
What do we got next?
Billy Kidman versus Scotty Riggs. This match goes 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Idiot Marcus Bagwell comes out to the stage. He calls Scotty fat and calls himself buff. There you go. Anyway, Kidman misses the 450 splash, which the announcers call a shooting star press, and Riggs hits the Ameriplex, which is just a fisherman suplex, for the win.
Yeah, well, there you go. I guess we're gonna do something with Riggs. I think people in retrospect think that like Billy Kidman was a lot more protected of a character when he first came around, but like, yeah, he was like just
He was a jobber for a few years.
yeah. He's a total enhancement guy for a while, so a real inspiration of the story. Anyway,
he married Tori Wilson. There's nothing more inspirational than that, Adam.
if only he'd kept her.
Next up, Lex Luger versus Rick Fuller. This match goes 3 minutes. Rick Fuller is a tall man, Adam. Anyway, it doesn't.
Big MFer. I wrote that. I was like, this guy is a big MFer.
It's tall. That doesn't matter though. Lex Luger's able to rack him anyway, but the crowd doesn't give a shit. It is so hot. They don't care what happens in the ring. All they want to do is see the torch rack, and that's what they got.
It's been that way for a couple of months now. Is they just want to see Luger wreck giants, and that's what he does. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It doesn't even suck because they do it so quickly. It's like the early, some modern examples of something similar would be like in the early NXT days of Baron Corbin, where like people would count down. They'd start counting how long the match was as soon as it started. Because you were
his best gimmick.
Yeah, all they wanted was to see the end of days, and then it was done. So that's exactly what's happening here with Luger. Yep. Except Luger is way over here too.
Yes. Good. Anyway, Luger starts to make his way out, and here comes Giant. They stare down at each other, but all good for now. All good for now. It's peaceful. They just respect, and Giant keeps walking. Giant walks right into the ring for an interview with Mean Gene. Giant says it's not about the NWO or WCW. It's about Hogan and him, and he won't be a bookend anymore for the NWO.
Whew. I like everything about what just happened. I am a huge sucker for a stare down on the ramp like that. I don't think it happens nearly enough. I think it could happen a lot more, but whatever. Huge fan of it because obviously those are two characters that people would want to see go at it. I'm loving the Giant. The crowd is loving the Giant. Like, let's go, dude. This main event.
Yes. But before we get to that, it's Arn Anderson versus Rick Steiner. Scott Steiner. His corner match goes 3 minutes. Arn gets hit with the big old suplex. At this point, rolls out of the ring, calls for the Horseman to come down, but ain't nobody coming at him. So Arn gets back around, keeps wrestling, goes back out to the outside again, is calling for the Horseman. Nobody's coming. The announcers say that the Horsemen are locked in the back because they're in a screaming argument. Arn is so pissed that nobody's coming out that he just walks away and gets counted out.
Now, I understand where maybe like some other people would do that, maybe like a member of the NWO or something. But like Arn is a Horseman, and part of the Horsemen is that they're ring generals and they're smart, save for Mongo, of course. But like, especially Arn. Arn is supposed to be a ring general. This is a dumb finish. Like, don't even have this match. And I love Rick Steiner. Like I actually saw this on paper. I was like, Arn Anderson versus Rick Steiner. That's a match I want to see. I like both of those guys. I like both of their work rates. I like both of their characters. This is going to be something solid. And then it just wasn't. But I mean, I get it. They're trying to tell a story. It's just not for me at the moment. And all I want to get to is this main event. I feel like you had Giant come out and already cut a promo. So why not go from that into the Giant match? But okay.
Oh, not yet, Adam, because still Mean Gene gets to the ring to talk to the Steiners about facing the Outsiders that sold out. Scott says he isn't hurt anymore. And Mean Gene tries to ask Rick a question, but Scott's not done talking. And Scott keeps talking. In fact, Rick never gets a word in because the music has to play Scott off because he just clearly went off on his own.
Rick would have just barked anyway, so I'm all right with it.
Right. Next up, Adam, here we go. Hulk Hogan with the NWO versus Giant. Let me get this out of the way because it's the only way to make any sense of this match. So all night they've been hyping the series premiere of the New Adventures of Robin Hood on TNT. Now, what WCW decided to do with this match, which Bischoff has spoke about on his podcast, I remember vaguely, not from 1997, but just in general, my wrestling knowledge. Basically, the thing about wrestling is for a network, if you treat it as just a pure numbers game, you're going to get great numbers. Why in the past it's been a little less valuable to networks is if the audience doesn't stick around. They just leave. They don't watch goddamn Law and Order after Raw. They leave. So what does USA do about this? After 30 years of having it on air, they're like, just make it 3 hours of Raw. That's the only way to get these people to stay here, whatever, which is why we have a 3-hour Raw. It sucks, but that's what it is. So I forget if this is, I doubt this is Eric's thinking, but maybe he was influenced by TNT or whatever. This is a turn to decision. They decided, okay, everything we put after Nitro, as hot as it is, as many fans are watching, they don't stick around. So what shall we do? Well, if we deliver the biggest main event we can possibly do, which is Hulk Hogan versus Giant, and we make the entire match take place only during the commercial break of the New Adventures of Robin Hood, then it's the only way to get the fans to stick around. And that, Adam, is exactly what they did.
I would stick around for that. I mean, that's huge. And I'm reading about the New Adventures of Robin Hood right now on Wikipedia for all the pod heads who are interested, because obviously everybody is all on board with wrestling knowledge here. Let's see how much we can expand our knowledge, though. Much like when we talked about the elusive wild Sable and such. The New Adventures of Robin Hood went 4 seasons, so 2 on TNT, 1 and 2 on TNT, 3 and 4 in syndication, and they did 52 episodes over 2 calendar years. And for anybody who is really excited about that prospect and wants to go watch the New Adventures of Robin Hood, it is currently available on HBO Max. So there you go.
Wow. Anyway, I guess we could talk about this match now. So basically what happens is Hogan comes out to NWO. All they do is talk about the New Adventures of Robin Hood. Giant comes out, no music. They start the match, but there's like 2 minutes to go as they're both making their way into the ring. There's finally 30 seconds to go as they first touch, and they really don't want anything to happen until this starts. So basically nothing happens, and they say, hey, we'll see you in the first commercial break. So 7 minutes later, we come back. And they basically do fucking nothing. Hogan bails again to not do anything. And they say, all right, I guess we'll see you after the next commercial break. Finally, come back from the commercial break. Giant calls it a choke slam. Hogan keeps trying to get out of it, but he keeps locking it back on. Finally, the entire NWO jump into the ring, and that's it. Show's over.
Yeah. Little bit of under delivering on the promise there. I was much more excited for the prospect of this match than what it ended up delivering, but nonetheless, the audience was really excited about it. There were some huge pops in there. I mean, of course, you want a match with
the stadium audience got a goddamn 25-minute Giant Hogan match.
Yeah.
We got a 30-second. I was actually thinking about that if they really did it live, or they just like film the 2 minutes and cut it in.
Yeah, that's a good question. But I feel like they did it.
My guess is they did it live. Which is really stupid.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of. Well, I mean, yes and no, because you get to have your audience have some fun with it, right? Like in the Superdome, I'm sure that they had a good.
Do you really think they had fun watching 2 guys that normally stall in their matches stall extra super hard?
Maybe. I mean, that you're getting a Hogan match though, and like that's what a Hogan match mostly is. Like, let's be real,
right?
But like, how often do you get a proper Hogan match on Nitro? I can think if we were to total up what we'd seen so far. I'm sure the pod heads out there have this information readily available, and I wish that I did too. But I'm sure there's no way we've seen Hogan in a proper match on Nitro more than 5 times. 5 times? 5 times. 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 5 times in the Monday Night Wars?
Maybe. I think my biggest problem is that if you're going to pull this kind of bullshit, which is complete bullshit. Listen, TV industry is tough and you want to try some stuff. I'm all on board. This was a fun attempt at something new. And I'm not against trying, but I think you got to fucking deliver something. If you're going to make us stick around, I know we didn't have to stick around. So what's the difference? We're going to watch 30 seconds more of the stupid match. But if you're going to do it, all you did was piss off everybody who didn't want to fucking watch New Adventures of Robin Hood. If I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, I'm like, I hate the show now. I hate the show because it's ruined this match. And all we got out of it is a big schmaz. We used to wait through two commercial breaks at him. This was probably 10:20 at this point, maybe 10:18. So you're waiting an extra 20 minutes for this.
Yeah. I'm seeing if I do like the search function in my notes here for Hogan versus, I'm only getting 7 results, including this one. So
that makes sense.
Take back my statement about 5. It's 7. I believe we've.
To be fair, he wasn't on a lot of shows. So on the shows that he is on, maybe it's a higher number. You know, he's in Hollywood. Adam, he's a movie star.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you know, sometimes even he had that long stretch where he wasn't around, but you know, sometimes even when he's in Hollywood, they're sending things from set for him to show off about. But yeah, you know, I'm picking up what you're putting down on this main event. There's obviously you wish there could be some more out of it. It was a favor to the network, clearly, but the storyline's really hot. The fans are really into it, and I overall enjoyed Nitro. Really good, I think.
I bet you Cody does this.
Like for a new show that they're gonna?
He loves WCW. He loves WCW shit. He knows this happens. He probably marks hard for this. He'll tell Tony to do it.
There's good things that WCW did. There's a lot of
Halloween Havoc. We saw it come back this week. It was incredible.
Yeah, they got a good rating for it and everything like that. But like there is. Still didn't win the demo, but you know, it's interesting that like, you know, because of the lines that we've been fed, you know, history is written by the victors. WWE loves to talk about WCW in this way that like they were just dumb fucks the entire time, and of course they went down. Of course they sunk. What possible thing could they have had that was good back then in sort of concepts that they haven't carried on forward? But like there were a lot of good things in WCW, as we're learning from going back through this, as the podheads are learning going through it with us. And I think there's a lot of that current shows can take forward. You know, Cody and TNT like can pick up some of that stuff, and it's been good to see that in the modern era. You know, like I've often described like AEW as like kind of what WCW would be in 2020 if it was like good WCW. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 96, 97, 98, 99 and 2000 WCW gets pretty weird. So even 98 gets a little weird. Around like when the streak ended is when
it's kind of peaking now, to be honest. But yeah.
Like when NWO just doesn't end, you know, like when it becomes, you know, the Wolfpack and the LWO and everything like that. Unfortunately, they never work in the Blue World Order. My favorite iteration. Anyway, let's talk about this though. Our whole thesis statement for the show: head to head, who should have won? What was the better show this week, Jared?
Nitro.
Clear as the day is long. I mean, such an inconsequential Raw. The best thing on it was a Sid promo, and like Nitro for the things that weren't.
And The Rock showing up. If there's one thing to watch, it's The Rock showing up.
Almost because it's so huge of a blunder that like, oh my goodness, how did this happen? I mean, but in my opinion, like you could have sandwiched, like if you had that Raw and you had a Nitro that was like actually garbage for the most part, as long as you had that DDP moment on the show, that's good enough for me. I think that, like, as we were sort of discussing, I think that DDP moment is up there as one of the bigger character moments of the 90s. Certainly of what happens in WCW. Certainly like one of the biggest individual beats. You know, like if you just like close your eyes and think of giant moments that happened throughout the Attitude Era, and like, you know, you're going to have a handful of them. You're going to have 10 of them, right? You're going to have, like, obviously you're going to have Hogan joining the Outsiders and forming the NWO. You're going to have Austin in the beer bath, and you know, you're going to have Vince joining the corporate ministry together or whatever. But like, I put DDP fakes out the NWO up there as one of those moments, personally.
Well, we both chose Nitro, so did America, Adam. Nitro gets a 3.4, Raw gets a 2.3. But what's fun is, well, who's ever keeping track of this at home, mark off Nitro. Thank you. Well, it's important what we have to say, Adam. We love hearing what you guys at home have to say. And if you want to let us know, there's a million ways you can do that.
Apparently, a million one if you can reach us through TikTok, huh?
There you go. Number one, if you want to comment on my stuff in TikTok, that's Brunch Boys. Everywhere else, though, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment below, let us know who you thought won the Monday Night Wars this week or any other thoughts. If you're listening to us on podcast, that's very cool. Follow, subscribe, whatever the button is. Specifically, if you listen to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. Let us know who won the Monday Night Wars this week, or again, whatever thoughts you have. You can tweet at us Monday Night Pod. You can Facebook at us Monday Night Pod. You can Instagram at us Monday Night Pod. You can email us info@mondaynightpod.com. Yeah, I guess that's a plug. Adam, any final thoughts?
Why do you always put this on me, man? I'm
giving you the last word every time.
Oh, the last word? Randy Orton is boring, and if you like him, you should feel bad about it.
Yeah, well, now I can't give you the last word this week.
I'm kidding. Fuck the Bears. That's my last word. I'm so disappointed in you, and obviously Mongo came from the Bears. God dang it. What a...
Hey, nothing you can say.